Welcome back, my friends. I am on our third video here. I did a little bit of looting between the last video and this one just so that at least some of the boring stuff could be done off camera. I plan to do that same thing when I get into crafting because crafting is the most boringest thing. Alright, so I'm supposed to go to my first enchanter and have a talk with him, but I didn't do all the looting.
Hear what? I heard they suspect someone of dabbling in blood magic.
Why would anyone do something so stupid? That's a death sentence.
Because blood magic is powerful, you can bend others to your will and force demons to your service. That's what I hear anyway.
Alright, another ambient conversation. Someone's accused of blood magic. I wonder who that could be. Alright, let's do some looting here.
Very well.
Which is the video game equivalent of stealing from people, but nobody seems to care when you do it in video games. It's one of those incongruent things. You can go into someone's house, open all their chests, and people just pretend like it didn't happen. I guess they're just being polite. I don't know. Oh, there's a cabinet. I don't remember this cabinet. Alright, let's steal from the cabinet now. Pretty sure I can't go down into this basement, at least not yet. Oh, maybe I can. Yeah, I can't go here. It's locked. Can't unlock. It's what when I hover over the door in the lower right hand corner, it says first door. Right click, can't unlock. So no matter what I do, I won't be able to get in there. And there's nothing in here for me to loot.
I'll do it.
And anyway, the first enchanter is waiting for me. Why don't I care more about being on time? You'd think like this would be like being in college and having the dean call you up.
Must control the fire with
I
your
don't really
will.
care about these ambient conversations because they're just
Steady.
people
Don't want it sputtering and leaping about.
having lessons.
Fancy says about magic.
Could there be anything more boring, even in fantasy England, as people having lessons? Oh, there's a book. So one thing that I do in game, which you may notice by the flashing of names, is there's a button you can press in this game, which is the tab button that tells me the names of things. So for example, if something is clickable like that book, it'll show up when I hold down tab. That's also one of those things that you wouldn't know just from playing this game for the first time or not being a game player. Not all games have the same button, but some games have a button like that. Alright, first enchanter. Do I want to go directly to the first enchanter or do I want to talk to some people? I don't know. Some of these people are just real boring. But I think these people are going to talk about something important, so I'm going to listen.
That's not. Will they? They haven't done anything, and I've heard that the Equitarians are starting to soften a little on the libertarian position.
Sympathy for a position isn't the same as support. Yet. As far as I know, most Equitarians prefer to remain allied with the Loyalists. You can see why, don't you? Just think of what the Chantry would do if suddenly the Circles were petitioning for more independence, or even a split.
Won't be pretty.
Ah, the short-sighted Libertarians. They'll get their way and take us all down with them.
Alright, so that was a political conversation, which is why I want to listen to it. Politics are somewhat important in this game. At least for finding out what's going on.
I think someone's here to speak to you, Senior Torren.
Senior Torren, let's speak with him.
Hello. Congratulations on your harrowing last night. Good work.
What were you talking about earlier?
Oh, the fraternities of the Enchanters. You probably haven't heard of them. It's best not to get tangled up in circle politics. More trouble than it's worth, really.
Tell me about the fraternities.
They're found in all circles throughout Thedas. Groups of enchanters who hold similar viewpoints, who band together to make their voices heard. The most influential fraternity are the Equitarians. They are moderates and believe in a code of conduct that all mages should adhere to. Then there are the Chantry apologists, the Loyalists. The Chantry says something and they follow it to the letter. The Lucrosians just want to make money, and the Isolationists would like us all to be hermits and live on an island. Then, of course, there are the Libertarians. They want more power for the Circle, more autonomy.
Which do you belong to?
Huh. Well, if I had to, I'd say I was an Equitarian, but I ducked out of the fray a long time ago. Most of the senior enchanters are Equitarians. Irving, Wynne, Sweeney. Ulrid's a libertarian, and a loud one at that. Mages have enough opposition from the outside without tearing our circles apart with infighting. But what can you do?
Giving up doesn't help anyone.
An idealist, I see. Well, if you're going to change the world, you should get started immediately. Lots of world to cover.
Yeah, maybe I will, smug adult. Maybe I will. Don't really want to talk to these other people, but I am going to click on all the things because this gives me XP. So even though I've read these codexes, I guess I should talk about the codexes a little bit. Or codices, I guess is the right plural. So one of the cool things about this game and Bioware games generally is that they have these really in-depth codices that give you all sorts of lore, tell you all sorts of things that you wouldn't know just from playing the game. It's what we call flavor text. It's not really necessary to know this stuff, but it can be very interesting. I don't read all of the codices. I never have, but I read an article from time to time to find out some stuff. As I said, it can be interesting, but man, look at all those. Look at all that link. There's just too much, really. But right now, the only reason I'm clicking on stuff is to get the codices in my inventory or in my little book there, and then that gives me XP. XP then helps me level up faster. Just as stealing gives me more stuff to use in the game. Excuse me, looting. It's called looting. It's somehow much more acceptable than stealing. Oh, okay. Well, we're just about to get to this dude Cullen, who, if you listened to that conversation earlier, had some pretty nice things to say about my character and her harrowing. And one of the other mages had some ideas as to why he might be so complimentary. So I think I'd like to, flirt a little bit with them, see what happens. It's always fun in these games is to flirt with people. It's one of the main reasons I play them. No joke.
Oh, hello. I'm glad to see your harrowing went smoothly.
Hello, Cullen.
They picked me as the Templar to strike the killing blow if you became an abomination. It's nothing personal, I swear. I'm just glad you're all right,
Would you really have struck me down?
I would have felt terrible about it. But I serve the Chantry and the Maker, and I will do as I am commanded.
Alright, so before I continue on, there's a lot of really good vocal performances in this game. This guy, for how little he's given to do, and this isn't the only role that he plays. He plays a whole bunch of bit parts, but he's just really good. He does a lot with what he's given. And they use this voice actor in all the games. So, for obvious reasons, like I said, he's just really good. Alright, let's see, what am I going to say to him? Maybe we could go elsewhere and continue our discussion.
Elsewhere? What do you mean?
We should get to know each other.
Oh, my goodness. If you're saying what I think, well, that would be really inappropriate, and ooh, I couldn't. I should go.
That's my favorite part, is that he runs away. Poor Cullen. Poor unloved Cullen.
It shall be done.
So again, I'm looting things, but I'm
say.
also clicking on things that are in codices, and some of the stuff I'm looting is just like blank pieces of paper that I'm going to sell to a merchant later. It's all part of playing a game. You gotta take all the stuff so that you can sell it later and get money, which is important. And you gotta click on all the informational things to get some more XP. Yeah, all very important. I don't think we're quite at the first enchanter's spot yet. A few more books to read, a few more things to loot. These are all... Okay, so one of the things that, this I'm going to discuss a little bit, because one of the things that these codices are saying that I already know from having played the games and having read these codices is it's talking about the religion of this universe, and the main religion that most of the people that you meet in your corner of the world are going to be Andrastians, in that they serve someone named Andraste, which is this fantasy universe's sort of stand-in for Christ. Andraste was a woman, and she was the bride of the Maker, as they call her, so she's really sort of Christ mixed up with the Virgin Mary. And she died a martyr, and her Judas was actually her husband. She had an earthly husband who was jealous, and he's the one that turned her in. And so from Andraste came the Chantry, which is, again, their version of the church. And also came the Circle of Magi, because Andraste essentially fought against an empire of mages and broke their rule over Ferelden, which is the country that we're in. But those imperial mages still exist. They just have a much smaller empire. They live just in Tevinter. Also, you may have heard someone mention Thedas, which is... What is Thedas? I'm in Ferelden. Thedas is basically the whole world, I guess? The Earth, maybe? I never thought about what is Thedas, but Thedas is the whole... Everything is in Thedas that we know of. So it could be like Thedas is... we could say it's the Europe setting. It's a version of Europe. It's maybe the continent, but they never are really specific as to what Thedas is, except for that Ferelden, the country I'm in, is in Thedas, and Tevinter is in Thedas, and Orlais, their version of France, Fantasy France, is in Thedas, and there you go. That's a brief history of the world that I'm in. Ferelden is Fantasy England. So everyone essentially in this place has an English accent. One fun thing about the accents, like I said, Orlais is France, Ferelden is England. There's a place called Starkhaven, which you hear a little bit about. That's the Scottish. I don't know if there's an Irish, what's the word I'm looking for? Irish thing, whatever. Irish fake country. I don't know that there is one. But, oh man, I lost my tangent about what I was talking about. Something about the different places. Oh, dwarves! Dwarves! Okay, I like the fact that dwarves in this universe essentially are Americans. That's the accent they chose for dwarves, is American accent. The only reason I like that is because every other dwarf in any fantasy setting is Scottish. And I just like that for once the dwarves aren't Scottish, so... That's all I'm going to say about that. Now let's talk to the first enchanter. See how he's doing.
Many have already gone to Ostagar. Wynne, Aldred, and most of the senior mages. We've committed enough of our own to this war effort.
Your own? Since when have you felt such kinship with the mages, Gregor? Or are you afraid to let the mages out from under Chantry supervision, where they can actually use their Maker-given powers?
How dare you suggest?
Gentlemen, please. Irving, someone is here to see you.
You sent for me?
If it isn't our new sister in the circle. Come, child.
This is...
Yes, this is she.
Well, Irving, you're obviously busy. We will discuss this later.
Of course. Well, then, where was I? Oh, yes, this is Duncan of the Grey Wardens.
Pleased to meet you.
You've heard about the war brewing to the south, I expect. Duncan is recruiting mages to join the King's army at Ostagar.
I would like to defend Ferelden.
With the Darkspawn invading, we need all the help we can get, especially from the Circle.
What do you mean?
The power you mages wield is an asset to any army. Your spells are very effective against large groups of mindless Darkspawn. I fear if we don't drive them back, we may see another blight.
Duncan, you worry the poor girl with talk of blights and darkspawn. This is a happy day for her.
We live in troubled times, my friend.
We should seize moments of levity, especially in troubled times. The harrowing is behind you. Your phylactery was sent to Denerim. You are officially a mage within the circle of Magi.
My leash, you mean?
Now, child, it's not that bad.
I'm sorry, what is this phylactery?
Blood is taken from all apprentices when they first come to the tower, and is preserved in special vials.
So they can be hunted if they turn apostate.
We have few choices. The gift of magic is looked upon with suspicion and fear. We must prove we are strong enough to handle our power responsibly. You have done this. I present you with your robes, your staff, and a ring bearing the Circle's insignia. Wear them proudly, for you have earned them.
Thank you.
It goes without saying that you shall not discuss the harrowing with those who have not undergone the rite. Now then, take your time to rest, or study in the library. The day is yours.
Can I leave the tower?
Not yet. Remember, the tower's walls protect us as much as they protect others from us.
I will return to my quarters.
Would you be so kind as to escort Duncan back to his room, child?
It would be my pleasure.
The guest quarters are on the east side of this floor, close to the library. Now, if you'll both excuse me, I have matters to discuss with Gregor.
Now, I can try to flirt with Duncan, but it's a little bit weird because he's sort of like a father figure in this game, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I already have better ropes than that, but now I got a nice little stick that'll help me shoot fire out of it. Or ice in my case. Alright, we gotta touch the books.
I shall do it.
Because that tells you about blood magic, the thing you're never ever supposed to do because it's bad and it'll cast you into the depths of hell. Except for there is no hell in this game, there's just abominations. Did I miss his room already? Oh no, he's just not following me. Okay. Come on, bro. It's not that far away. Could talk to him, but I really already know about Grey Wardens. Everyone knows about Grey Wardens.
Thank you for escorting me.
You are welcome. Alright, now comes the next part. Jowan. Of course Jowan's got something he wants me to do for him. Of course he does, because that's Jowan. I think that has reached our 15-minute limit on this one, or 20-minute limit. So I will say goodbye, and we will continue with what the hell whiny Jowan wants. Bye-bye.